Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another Burlingame. It's a small-town podcast sponsored by the Burlingame Historical Society. My name is Mark Lucchese, also known as Mark at the Mic, and it's my pleasure today to have John Kevranian, who, along with his wife Nora, own Nuts for Candy, located at 1241 Broadway in Burlingame. John, thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
So how's business?
It's been great. No complaints.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah?
And we're in the early stages of the holiday shopping season right now, and things look great for us.
Good. And Thanksgiving week, last week was a good week for you?
It was a fairly good week.
Great.
A lot of people were traveling, but it was a decent business.
Yeah. Did you stay open completely all the way through, like Thursday, Friday? Did you close Thanksgiving Day?
We closed Thanksgiving Day.
And you work a full day on Friday?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Got it. So you're back to normal now.
Exactly.
We're done and over with.
Yes.
So before we kind of really get into this interview, can you sort of maybe describe what the inside of your store looks like to some of our listeners who may have not made a visit to you yet?
Yes. We have products for all ages, from candies, chocolates, to toys. When you walk into our store, you walk down the memory lane. We have a lot of retro candy and retro toys, and it's for all ages. Great selections. Many products are imported, hard to find products, and we specialize in certain candies like black licorice and nostalgic toys, and people ask for them, so we bring them. It's a great variety of 450 variety of candies and over 1,000 different toys we carry.
Yeah, when I visited you last week or the week before, I couldn't believe how much merchandise you crammed into that. What's the square footage there?
It's about 700 square feet.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of merchandise, and it goes all the way to the ceiling, and you have boxes to unpack, and the place was just full. When I see a retail shop like that, it automatically means to me business. You're doing business.
We ordered most of the products about 9 months ago for the holiday, and we want to have inventory and have a great selection for the customers to have the opportunity to shop. We don't want anyone to leave without buying anything, so we bring great variety of products.
I'll say you do. So when I was reading your bio, which I found very interesting, it says that you emigrated to the U.S. from Beirut, Lebanon in 1976 at the age of 9. Is that correct?
Yes, I did, with my family, my parents and my sister.
Right, and then they enrolled you in an ESL class, which is English as a second language class?
Yes.
Right? Because you didn't speak any English.
That's right. In 1976, we arrived in the month of August, and we lived in Burlingame for 1 month, and my father couldn't find a job, so we moved to Los Angeles, stayed there for a year, and I didn't learn any English because all my friends were Armenian, so my parents didn't like Los Angeles that much, so we came back to the Bay Area, and we settled in South San Francisco. And I was enrolled in, it was Martin Elementary School, where I started my ESL classes.
What grade was that, give or take, if you remember?
It was fourth grade.
Right, fourth grade. And then I'm looking at my notes here, and your folks bought a shoe repair store here on Broadway in 1980. Is that correct?
Yes, in 1980. My father, he purchased a shoe repair shop. It was called Harold Shoe Service. Previously, my father was working for Deonda Bakery from 1977 to 1980.
Up in San Francisco?
In San Francisco, exactly. Family-owned Italian-American pastry shop.
Know them well. Yeah,
and they also had the San Mateo store.
Yes, up at Crystal Springs.
The Crystal Springs shop was not open yet. They were at Petrini's.
That's correct.
In San Mateo, I believe on 37th Avenue.
When I managed that store back in, I don't know, the 80s.
That's right.
They were there. Yeah, great pastries, like you said, cakes, etc. So you were, in 1980, were you still in middle school or had you entered high school yet?
I was in junior high school.
You were.
Yes.
Where did you end up going to high school?
South San Francisco High School, the Warriors.
The Warriors, that's right, yeah. Okay, so now let's fast forward to Nuts for Candy, the shop.
Yes.
How did that evolve?
Well, 1993, Nora and we got married on Christmas Day, December 25th. And about a year, we were newlyweds. Nora said, John, we should look into maybe opening a business. I'm bored at home. I said, what do you want to do? She says, I love working with kids. I said, what about a candy store? And we agreed, and we did some research for the industry, and we learned a lot, and we talked to sales reps, and we found the location at 1241 Broadway, and we opened it.
So you're telling me, the way I'm reading this, is that it was kind of a startup. It wasn't already in business, and you had bought the business?
It was a complete startup.
Oh, that's
we
amazing.
took over a vacant store, which was an optical store previously.
Yeah.
We completely renovated, painted, linoleums, fixtures, slat walls. We had a great time starting the business. The location we're in was my father's old shoe repair location, which he was in there from 1980 to 1990.
And what did he do there? Did he retire after that or something, or sell the business? Or?
In 1990, my father moved across the street next to Supercuts, and he was there until 1998.
Great. And you and Nora came along in 1994?
94 December.
Amazing. How many years now?
In 2 weeks, it's going to be 28 years.
28 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's fabulous. So the name, Nuts for Candy, catchy name. How'd you come up with that?
Well, Nora and we sat down one night and we started jotting down names. We came up with like 200 different names. And through the process of elimination, we finalized it at Nuts for Candy.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, cute name.
Thank you. Thank you.
And business is going well.
Businesses, we're doing really well, and we're doing better than pre-COVID. We're doing social media marketing, and I'm very active on social media, on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and it's doing wonderful for us.
I also know that you are president of the Broadway Business Improvement District, and I call you sort of the unofficial mayor of Broadway, okay? Because I know you're involved in a lot of things. So we're going to kind of randomly run through these things. So
Sure.
Any thoughts on what the city can do to perk up business on Broadway?
Well, currently, we only have one vacancy. So Broadway is doing pretty well. What we may need is more events on Broadway, maybe a farmer's market or some type of an art and wine festival that can help with bringing foot traffic where 52% of Burlingame are tenants. And when you have events, people come out and they see what type of businesses are in your business district, and it helps for future business, building goodwill.
In the 20-some-odd years that you've been on Broadway, has it ever hosted a art and wine festival or a fresh market or anything like that we have on the Avenue?
We used to have a fresh market about 10 years ago, and they stopped it. There were a couple of merchants that were worried about their business competing with the fresh market, and it was canceled. It was on Cappuccino Avenue. But when we first opened our store 28 years ago, we used to have a street fair for a few years, and that was canceled. Because our downtown is a service street, hair salons, nail salons, many of the businesses don't want events because it's difficult for their customers to park and go to their businesses.
Got it. Yeah, I when I was over at Molly's over on Chapin, I faced some of those issues with the Art and Wine Festival. They would park in our parking lot. And
Challenges.
I had to actually hire a guy to keep people out. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, anyway, so tell our listeners about some of the beautification accomplishments that have been going on Broadway. I know that you're responsible for a few of those things.
Well, currently, they finalized the Broadway street lights. About 7 years ago, I approached a city council member, John Root, at the time, and I mentioned to him that Broadway was dark at nights, and he came out one night and looked at the street, and he said, "You're right, John, it's very dark." So we started the process of studying how we can improve the lighting. So about 2 years ago, the city of Burlingame received $1 million grant from the federal government, and a few weeks ago, All the light fixtures were installed and finished, and the street looks beautiful. We had about 20 fixtures at the time, and currently we have 40. They've added additional 20, but all the light fixtures, all 40, are brand new, and the Broadway Business District looks beautiful at night when you drive by.
Fantastic. Boy, that really lights it up. So there's 40 lamp poles now, is what you're saying?
Yes, we have 40 lamp poles from El Camino Real to Carolyn Avenue.
And there used to be 20?
There was about 20.
Man, that's amazing.
And the light,
That's
it's
crazy.
unbelievable. It's beautiful. And I'm receiving phone calls, text messages every week from constituents thanking me that it looks great.
Great. So what else do you have going on Broadway?
We've done bike racks on Broadway and around the business districts with the Broadway Arch that I designed.
Yep.
I'm working with the city of Burlingame to get some composting bins, because as of October 1st, businesses have to use certain type of food-to-go containers. They cannot be clear plastic anymore, so they have to be compostable. So we need some containers on the street. We're also getting recycled bins. I work with the city very closely to keep the sidewalks clean. I work with all the department heads and city staff, and I thank them for all the work they do for our downtown business district.
I heard a little rumor that was going around that you're trying to work on a little no smoking ban on Broadway. Is that true?
Yes. Many businesses have approached me, including citizens in Burlingame with children, saying, John, smoking on the sidewalks, it's unhealthy for our kids and also for the business owners. Some people stand in front of storefronts and smoke, and the smoke comes into the business. And I'm working with the city right now and brainstorming and studying to see what we can do to ban smoking in the business district.
Great. That's well, you pushed that one through. That's amazing. Okay, if you
It's
get that one.
environmentally, we have to do it.
Yeah.
People are smoking, throwing the cigarette butts in the gutter areas, and it goes right to the bay.
Yeah.
It's not a healthy thing. And the city, every single day, for 2-3 hours on Broadway and Burlingame Avenue, they're picking up cigarette butts, and people are paying for that time that the city staff spends
You bet.
cleaning.
You bet. So you mentioned COVID a few minutes ago, and I know that you actually were closed for a couple of 3 months.
We
during
closed
COVID?
about 3 months, yes.
Kind of tell me a little bit about that whole time for you and Broadway in general. I know that you tried to help a few merchants out.
Yes. During the 3 months, I took the opportunity to help other merchants on our street. Many of our restaurants were struggling. Hair and nail salons were closed. The majority of the businesses were closed. Only food to go was allowed, no indoor dining or outdoor dining. And what I did was made a list of all our restaurants and food establishments that were open, and we made a list of all those businesses, and I gave it to the city of Burlingame. They posted it on the city website, and we promoted all the businesses on social media and asked the constituents and the citizens to patronize our Broadway Burlingame businesses. And also, a good friend of mine, Jeff DiMartini, started a program during COVID. It was called Meals for Mills Hospital. And he did a GoFundMe account and raised $80,000. And we
gosh.
bought food for the hospital workers during COVID from Burlingame restaurants to help them out.
Wonderful. What a great idea that was.
It was awesome, very successful. We were also all over the news.
What about, I know that you and Nora are very involved in community involvement, okay? You got a lot of things going on. So tell the listeners a little bit about the 25 years of the toy drive. How did that start out?
Well, Don Dornell, when he was the chief of the fire department, he approached me and said, John, can you help us? Can you partner with us for the toy drive? And I said, definitely. That was about 25 years ago. And we have continued on the partnership. Captain Herman Barahona runs the program. Wonderful individual. He received the Jefferson Award last year. And so far, our business alone has collected over 10,000 toys.
crazy, man. Wow.
Last year alone, we collected 25 barrels of toys. So far, in less than a week, I've done 4 barrels of toys. So with tough times with inflation, it's been a challenge collecting toys, and we would love to have local citizens stop by and bring a new unwrapped toy. If they don't have one, they can come in and purchase a toy at Nuts for Candy.
Sure.
And we will be holding this toy drive until Christmas Eve.
This toy drive, are there barrels at other stores throughout town, or is there certain locations that people can
There
go
are
to?
barrels at the fire department stations and also certain stores. You can go to the Central County Fire Department's website, and there's a list of barrels where you can find them.
When I went and visited your shop twice, behind the register where Nora's there and on the wall, it's not exactly a blank wall.
It's not. There's no inventory back there
Right.
behind us.
Because you have all that room for your awards and certificates. And
Yes, they're all accolades, awards, certificates of achievements. We're proud of it. As a small business owner, we've done a lot for the community, not only here but far away. We work with local schools, with BCE. We donate to different charity groups. I work with I used to work with Cappuccino High School, where the staff would bring high school students with disabilities, and we would teach them how the retail process worked. They would have $5 each, and we would teach them how to weigh the candy, buy the candy. We also spent time at Pescadero High School on Career Day to teach students, high school students, the process of retail, what's involved every day, how to run the business, how to keep the books, how to purchase products. So we enjoy doing it. And also, in 2019, when Congresswoman Jackie Spears, she was going to Texas to visit the detention centers to see how people were being treated, undocumented refugees. We sent 400 stuffed animals to the children.
wow, amazing.
We love doing it.
Yeah, I don't think the word no is in your vocabulary, to be honest
No,
with
I
you.
never accept the word no from any individual, especially politicians.
So I just think it's amazing, John. Nora is an immigrant as well, right?
Yes, she immigrated from Israel to Canada in 1992, I believe.
Yeah. And you guys have been together again for how many years now?
We met in 1992, and we got married on December of 93, but we got engaged in March of 93.
Yeah.
And we opened the store in 1994. We were newlyweds.
Man, oh man. So in addition to running a store, being involved with the city, and with toy drives, the donations, etc., both of you found time to raise 3 children. Is that correct?
Yes. When we opened the store, we had no kids. We have 3 kids. They're 19, 21, and 24. The youngest is a boy, and we have 2 girls. The oldest graduated UC Riverside in 2020 during COVID. And then the middle one, she attends Berkeley, UC Berkeley, and the youngest goes to UCLA.
Doesn't that just blow your mind? I mean, here you were, you come over here from Lebanon and don't know a lick of English.
Exactly.
And look, it's what happened in between. I think this is a
Exactly.
success story to me, John.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very proud of them.
So before I wrap this up, why don't we just do a little shout out here for Nuts for Candy? It's open 7 days a week, correct?
Yes.
The hours?
Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday 11 to 4 p.m.
You give Nora a little break on Sunday then, or what's the deal here?
Nora does not work Sundays
Good
usually.
man, John. Good man.
But right now, during the holidays, she's with me 7 days a
You know,
week.
I know you guys are crazy, man. That's just amazing to me.
We've been married 28 years, and we've been working together for 28
Isn't that
years,
great?
7 days
That's
a week.
just get up and grind, right? That's
Exactly.
Great stuff. So, John, while we're doing this and wrapping it up, why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you on Instagram and Facebook?
Our Instagram account is Nuts for Candy, NUTSFOR Candy. Our Facebook is Nuts for Candy. We also have a website, nutsforcandy.com. And we're all over Google. We have a Yelp page, a Google page.
What about one last thing about the Facebook page for the downtown Burlingame, downtown Broadway business? Is that
Yes, the Broadway Burlingame Business District has a Facebook page called Broadway, Burlingame. And I also have a separate page for my personal use. It's called The Burlingame News.
Yeah.
So together we have about 22 to 2,300 subscribers.
That's amazing. That's great.
And I post different things on there. Like today we have a new business opening on Broadway that opened up actually this morning, and I posted it, and it's a new
What was
restaurant.
that? Oh, new restaurant. Right.
Yes, it's called Broadway Kebab and Gyro. It's a Mediterranean food at 1232 Broadway.
Wonderful. John, give Nora my best.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a guest today.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
You bet. I'd like to thank John Kevranian, owner of Nuts for Candy, for being a guest today on Burlingame. It's a small town podcast. Thanks to Kathy and Shelby for editing and producing, the great Ray Tyler for videotaping, and my musical director, Bray. You can hear more of Bray at bray.com. The Burlingame Historical Society copyrights this podcast, and no part of this program can be rebroadcast without the permission of the Burlingame Historical Society. So until next time, everyone, see you around Burlingame. It's a small town.